Everyone, welcome back. So, Grey's Anatomy season 22, episode 15 recap. Weber's story brings back the heart. Alright, Grey's Anatomy just delivered an episode that feels a bit mixed but also reminds us why we still care about this show after all these years. Because while the relationship drama is still messy as ever, Weber's storyline, that's where the heart is. Too many characters, not enough focus. Let's start with the biggest issue. The cast is just too big right now. We have got Jules, Winston finally trying to make things work. Expect there's one problem. Winston is still technically in a relationship with Iris, and the show doesn't really explain how serious that relationship is. So when we find out he needs to break up with her, it feels rushed and confusing. Then comes the twist, it's Iris' birthday, so Winston hesitates, which honestly is fair. But Jules, she doesn't take it well. Instead of understanding, she spirals, getting jealous emotional and honestly a bit out of character. Jules' breakdown actually makes sense, kind of. Now, to be fair, there is a reason behind Jules' behavior. She later reveals she's been hormones for egg freezing, and suddenly everything clicks. Her emotional swings, her reaction, it all makes more sense. But here's the problem, the show buried that detail. With so many storylines happening at once, it's easy to forget important context like this, and that's where Greg struggles right now. Simone versus Lucas, and it's frustrating. Then we have Simone and Lucas, and this storyline is getting harder to watch. Simone is still angry at Lucas for blaming her for Katie's death, but here's the thing, she refuses to acknowledge her own role in it. If she hadn't hidden that equipment, Lucas could have been there with Katie in her final moments. He deserved closure, and Simone took that away from him. Yet somehow she's still acting like the victim. Even her apology at the end doesn't feel genuine, it feels forced, like she still doesn't fully understand the damage she caused. Weber's storyline steals the episode. Now let's talk about the highlight of this episode, Richard Weber. While most of the episode is filled with relationship chaos, Weber's arc brings everything back to what Grey's Anatomy does best, meaningful medical storytelling. He spends the episode doing community outreach for prostate cancer screenings alongside Lucas. At first, he avoids talking about his own health, but then in a barber shop, everything changes. Weber opens up, he reveals that he had prostate cancer, and at that moment, that's where the episode hits, because suddenly it's not just medical advice, it's personal, it's real, and you see the impact immediately. People listen differently when it comes from someone who's lived it. Why this storyline works, what makes this so powerful, is how grounded it feels. It's not over dramatic, it's not forced, it's just honest, and it reminds you of classic Grey Anatomy when the show balanced emotional storytelling with real world issues that actually matter. Even Weber acknowledges by the end that sharing his story isn't easy, but it can make a difference. And honestly, that's the kind of storytelling the show needs more of right now. Final thoughts, this episode is a mix of highs and lows. The relationship drama still messy, some characters still frustrating, but Weber's storyline proves that Grey's Anatomy still has its heart. It just needs to focus on it more. Focus on it more. So the big question is, can Greg finds its balance again, or is getting lost in its own chaos? That's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.